last night we had a very interesting talk on original content and how one survives in the App Store in that way. I guess the approach I'm talking about today is on licenses, why you would use licensed content, and how best to work basically with content that children already have a relationship with, understand, and love. So, firstly, why? Well, I guess as was talked about yesterday, you have an initial sales spike if you're fortunate enough to get your original content featured, and over there you can see a small update spike. But really, you know, it's not the tail on that business model is just it's really tough, really challenging. Whereas if you look at a licensed IP sales graph, yeah, again, if you're lucky, you've got that initial spike, but the tail on it is much more consistent, because you effectively, instead of a person's touch point being what's featured on the App Store, suddenly you have parents going in and actually searching for the specific content that their kids love. So it's really about discoverability. In terms of the type of content that we license, this is a Google Trends graph showing the searches for Shrek over a several year period. You can see Shrek 2 coming out, Shrek 3 coming out, Shrek whatever coming out, but there's these peaks, and then there are, you know, long periods where there's really very little activity. So we have tended to go after TV and book properties which have a more consistent and sustained interest than the big release of a tentpole movie. And I think the most important thing when creating licensed products is loving the content and loving the audience. If you can get yourself into the headset of you know, what makes somebody love this, you know, your job is actually is significantly easier. Of course, you're not always going to get, not every license that you take on board is going to be something like Eric Carle's work, which you have an affinity for, you naturally love. So, in the absence of loving the content, you need to at least respect it and respect your audience. What is it about any particular show or book that makes somebody love it? How can you build something that I suppose evolves that allows you to take it further? And effectively, the best way of doing it is you've got to build up a strong sense of trust with with either the creator, if you're fortunate enough to work on a property where the creators are still alive, or the license owner. And through building a sense of trust, building a sense of confidence, and demonstrating to them that you both respect or love their property, respect or love their audience, eventually they'll I guess allow you to move a property forward in a way that you just wouldn't otherwise get an opportunity to. So sometimes you know, we work on things that I'm maybe not necessarily a direct fan of. So in this case, we got the license to work on Power Rangers, and you know, I'm too old to have been a fan of Power Rangers when it was first on TV. My kids were just about fans of it when they were younger, so I at least had some sense of what the brand was about and why it appealed to children. I could understand the audience, but it was Michael Elman and Budge Studios made a really good point at another conference. I've been seeing other conferences. That a really good way to get inside the mind of a fan is to just do a bunch of YouTube research. So you go on YouTube, look into Power Rangers, see what is it, what are the most popular videos and why, what is the fan created content. You really very quickly get into the mindset of a fan and start to understand what makes them tick, what they love about the brand. If it's a TV show, you can sort of see what are the most popular episodes, what are the most popular characters coming up, and even though you mightn't know that universe, and your only understanding of it is through a style guide that you're provided, by actually examining all of this stuff, you can kind of get inside the mindset of the fan and therefore build something that they love. So in this case, everybody likes, there's all these combination videos of just the fights, just the Megazords, just the action basically. So we decided, right, for the fans, what we needed to make was a heavily action-oriented game, but for a younger audience. Now, so that's what we decided to make for that audience. But the problem is, I was going to be working on this project for 5 months. I needed to find something that I could love about it too. I mean, we have the honor of making content for children. It is the best job in the world, and you can't forget to just have fun while you're doing it. So for me, the angle that I found was, in addition to all the fights and what have you, that we would use a comic book metaphor. And really, I'm a comic geek, so I thought, well, if at least we were interweaving it with comics and animation and that side of things, that could be an angle that I would really love and would sustain my interest. And you know, when you're interested and enjoying creating your content, you can bet it shows through to the final audience. So find something for the audience, find something for yourself. So in some cases, it's possible, I think, to love a brand too much. I'm a huge Sesame Street fan, and you know, when we got the license to work on Elmo, it was absolutely fantastic opportunity for us, and I was really excited about it. It was a reasonably restrictive license in that it was a straight-up translation of the book, and you can see on this side a sequence from the book, you can see on this side a sequence from the app. We very lovingly recreated it perfectly. We redrew the artwork in multiple layers, we turned it into a pop-up book format, we animated the characters, we used all original voiceovers. You know, we really just brought it to life in as true a form as we could to the book. But ultimately, I think because we were almost too faithful to the source material, I don't think the app ultimately provided significant value add to a child or parent fan of Elmo over what the original book did. So I think sometimes, you know, if you're too faithful to it, you can get yourself in trouble. Similarly, with a much broader license, we were again fortunate enough to work with Warner DC on Batman. Now, I already said I'm a comic geek, and I'm an absolute Batman nut. So as soon as I got the opportunity to work on Batman, it was a little bit like Homer Simpson getting the chance to design his own car. Way too much freedom. I was, I've got to have Flash in it, we've got to have the full Batman family, you know, we want to have Batgirl in it because there's not enough girls in it. Let's make Clayface the villain, let's make Joker the villain as well, and there has to be a Batmobile chase. And it wouldn't be a Batman game if we weren't flying at some point. So, you know, we kind of, like, my love and enthusiasm for it meant that I put a lot into it. But I think ultimately, sometimes with an app, a simple sense going right through the heart of it, a simple, consistent proposition, rather than a little bit of everything, is going to be a more successful solution. Now, don't get me wrong, I think we did a great job on the app, and it did well, but I just think slightly, if I had not got as carried away with it as a fan, I think we would have produced a stronger, more succinct piece. And actually, we're looking to rework it at the moment to actually bring in that simplification. We did an internal experiment to bring it into VR. Again, it's younger than the audience for VR, but we wanted to at least play around in that area, and you know, and as we did it, we made a much more succinct, zippier story, and suddenly the engagement that kids had, even outside, even the same content outside of the VR context, was significantly higher. So what works? I'm not going to talk too much about Very Hungry Caterpillar, because I think probably most people have seen me talk about that ad nauseum. But I think what really worked from a licensing perspective with us and the Eric Carle content was, I appreciated it both from my own childhood. I appreciated it from the perspective of reading to my own children. So I knew what it was that appealed to kids about the book, what it was that appealed to parents. And I loved the art style, loved everything about it. But equally, I recognized that it was too thin a concept. We would wind up doing another Elmo-style app if we did a literal translation. So we basically we took it to a point where we used the broad universe, we used the characters, but we translated it across to 3D and I guess tried to make it a more personal experience for the user, where they had a direct relationship, a direct, I guess, nurturing relationship with the caterpillar. So effectively, the reason it worked, we respected and loved the brand, we understood the audience, we built trust with the author, and we took it far enough. We didn't stay rigidly close to the source material. Other things that work, we're actually just a couple of weeks away from release on Eric Carle's Brown Bear. So I'm going to show a little bit of that in a minute. And again, Brown Bear is a much simpler text than something like Very Hungry Caterpillar. It's a much more straightforward book. It's for a slightly younger audience. So taking that book and that concept, we had to see, well, what's different about it from Very Hungry Caterpillar, and how can it translate across? And effectively, it's a book about colours, it's a book about animals. That's what we tried to I suppose, capture and translate. It wasn't necessarily enough in its own right, so we turned it into more of a soundboard book. I think one of the other key things is you have to really challenge yourself. Last year at this Dust Our Magic, there was an app shown, Pokio? I'm not sure. What's the pronunciation of that kid's brand? Yeah. So there was an app shown. I got very, very excited because it was the most accurate reflection of, or most accurate translation I had seen of something that was claymation onto screen. And I thought that it had been developed, I suppose, as actual 3D characters that you could fully interact with. Now, I had a chat with the developer, and it transpired that actually they had these small pre-rendered sequences. You were extremely limited in what you could do in terms of interaction from one scene to the other. And although it looked beautiful, there wasn't really a sense that you were playing in a tactile universe. You were just playing little pre-configured clips directly after each other. So I suppose one of the things I walked away with, and I hope every year to walk away with some kind of concept from Dust Our Magic, but the one I walked away with last year was, well, could one actually create something that felt like a tangible 3D universe? Could you make something that felt tactile, but that a user could interact with it, change animation dynamically along the way, and it still feel part of that? So I'm going to show a little bit of it now, but again, working on Dick Bruno's Miffy, where they have a beautiful, beautiful animated show, it seemed like the perfect opportunity to test out these, I suppose, technical theories as much as anything else. So,
need sound?
If it's on AirPlay, it should have sound, I think.
Just make sure your volume's up.
Is this for public consumption?
So, I think we're going to just, if you can just hold off before putting my talk up, I will actually, I'm going to have to just seek permission from both of the brand owners, but I think we'll leave it recording, but
Sure, but what about tweets, anything?
best not for now. Yeah, thank you.
So,
Okay, so first up, brown bear.
so keep this in-house, please.
I'm not getting sand. Okay. So, again, taking Eric's 2D work, we wanted to translate it into something tangible, something that felt, I suppose, a little bit more friendly maybe than his original characters. So here we have Brown Bear. You can see he looks out at us a lot. He's very engaging, although he's easily distracted by butterflies. For anybody who's seen My Very Hungry Caterpillar, you can see here on the edge there's a pond, and the other side of the pond is in our My Very Hungry Caterpillar app. This is what's going on the other side of the pond. So there's little things, little incidental things you need to interact with, but really it's about collecting animals. So we're returning colour to black and white animals. And then they join us in a musical parade. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but you'll notice a leaf there has a few little holes in it. It's pretty small. So, although we wanted to make the bear 3D and tangible and believable, with the other animals we really wanted to see how close we could get them to Eric's originals. Something like the frog, we just couldn't animate in a 2D way, so we took him into 3D. So, how do you colour in a white dog? Well, you make him dirty and wash it. Obviously, all these animals are interactive along the way as well.
So the music is...
Yeah, so basically each animal has their signature tune, signature instrument, and basically the music builds up over time, but you can also then pepper it with little pieces of your own through interaction. You can pick them up in any order you want. You don't have to collect the animals. I'm just I guess playing it in a linear fashion. But no, you can turn around, which I'll demonstrate momentarily. Once the fish was a challenge. How do you bring a fish around with you without it flapping around on the ground? So he can go back, and as he passes each animal, they'll turn around. Actually, no. Once he gets back to the end, they'll all turn around and start following him. So you can revisit areas if you've left an animal behind or anything like that.
You can drag them into a different order.
You can't at this stage. We were that was something we toyed around with a lot, but it was just making it too confusing, and the difference between tapping an animal to playing music and dragging the animal around, it just didn't really work. So the animals all gather around you, and play them. But what you're really supposed to do is I think maybe because I'm connected to Apple TV, it might not work. No? Okay, not going to work because of the Apple TV, I think. But basically, a kid can record all of their own sounds in here and then play them back. I think for a 2-year-old, it definitely needs an adult on first playthrough. But we've playtested with kids certainly around 3 years old, and amazingly, despite the fact that we've no extensive instructions, as we always try and avoid in any of these Eric Carle apps, they figured it out. And very interestingly, I guess, to Raoul's point about giving kids the opportunity to create narrative, some kids went in and recorded parts for each of the animals so that they could play back a story. You know, hi, I'm a sheep, what's your name? Blue horse. And they basically have these big drawn out narratives which they would play with for ages. So that's it. That's Brown Bear. So then how are we doing for time? Are we
Toward the end.
Okay. So very briefly, Miffy needs to wake up. So you can see we've created something that feels very, very close to a claymation show, but it's fully interactive. There are no baked animations. We can change her clothes. And there's basically, it's an activity house. Well, this is a little bit out of sequence. You know, you can do things like bring her in for bath time. Bubbles pop. Play boat with her, get her to wash, dunk her under the water to get rid of all the suds. No, I'm not doing it. This is an earlier stage build. Somehow her face has got locked in a blink, I think. Never show content that's at too early a stage, I guess. But there are hundreds of small, discrete animated loops that all interplay with each other. So it's been an immensely complex app to make, but we've I think managed to capture very much the look and feel of the TV show, but combined it with a series of fairly interesting interactivities. And really, again, it was about finding what was at the heart of it, what kids loved about the show, what resonated with them, and trying to recreate that in an app. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks.